Hello, my name is Russell Myers. Welcome to Issues Unite. So, just how bad is COVID 19? With all the debate about COVID 19, also known as SARS CoV 2, some people are still claiming that it is no worse or actually is a form of the flu. Pay no attention to these people because they have not bothered with any effort at all to understand how the virus functions in the body. I do understand that the information which has been disseminated has been confusing and frequently biased in one direction or another. I was highly questioning of the danger in the beginning, though I'm going to say that that was when there was only one known variant. That grew to 3 variants and now stands at 36 known, I repeat, known mutations. Some strains are more aggressive than others and are far more dangerous than the less aggressive strains. Many people who argue that the virus is not dangerous do not realize that there is more than one strain at all. I also doubt that they understand the implications. I did happen to run across a very good article that explains this in layman's terms, well, more or less, and I'm going to quote that in a moment. That said, the more sources which repeat valid information using differed wording, the better the information enters the mainstream. So here's a quote from an excerpt from this, and I'm going to put a link to the article in the description below. All right, so SARS CoV 2 invades human cells by latching its spike protein onto the ACE2 receptor found on the surface of cells in the airways, lungs, heart, kidneys, and blood vessels. The ACE2 protein is an important player in the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system, which regulates blood vessel dilation and blood pressure. Two classes of drugs widely used to treat high blood pressure and heart disease, ACE inhibitors and angiotensin receptor blockers, interact with the ACE2 receptor. A possible concern related to COVID-19 stems from the notion that these blood pressure medications could increase the number of ACE2 receptors expressed on cells, possibly creating more molecular gates for the virus to enter. Some experts have wondered whether the use of such drugs would render people who take them more susceptible to infection. Conversely, others have postulated that the abundance of ACE2 receptors may enhance cardiovascular function, exercising a protective effort during infection. The answer is far from clear, but a recent review suggests these medicines may play a dual role in COVID-19. On the one hand, enhancing susceptibility to infection, and on the other, protecting the heart and ameliorating lung damage from the disease. Libby and Ridker, two researchers, caution that patients who take such life-saving medications should stay on them or at least have a careful discussion with their cardiologists. This is because these drugs have clear and well-established benefits in hypertension and certain forms of heart disease, while their propensity to make humans more susceptible to SARS CoV 2 remains speculative for the time being. So the end takeaway from this is that there is far more research needed, which is going to take time. You can't do human experimentation legally, especially when it can be fatal. However, we know that the virus attaches to the ACE2 enzyme receptors, which line the heart, lungs, kidneys, and intestinal tract, regulating various processes within the body. During the first stages of the virus, and for those who show no symptoms, the virus multiplies without causing impact into the function of the receptors and organs. In later stages, the virus multiplies more rapidly, and then the viral load can overcome the ACE2 receptors, causing disruption in the enzyme expression, which in turn results in organ function, organ dysfunction, damage, or failure. All right, the debate above in the article is about whether ACE inhibitors may do more harm or more good in controlling this effect. It appears to be a mixture of both. However, from what is expressed here, it could be that this drug class may be helpful in later stages. We just have to wait and see what research reveals. The major devastating impact seems to be the heart first and lung damage, though this explains why some patients present with gastric problems, because the ACE2 receptors are also in the gastrointestinal tract. All right, this also explains why the elderly, cardiac, and chronic respiratory patients are more prone to dangerous complications. These patients are more susceptible to ACE2 disruptions, causing organ damage or failure. There is no flu that operates in this manner. So, while it's slightly long, I do encourage those who want to know more to read the article I reference, because it explains more of the effect of the virus on patients with no medical history, cytokine storm, and undiagnosed medical issues, etc. With 36 known variants, it seems highly unlikely that this is going to go away anytime soon. We don't even know if it will continue to mutate into even more strains, one or more of which could be more aggressive than the ones we've encountered. It has been noted that the mortality, the death rate, from this virus varies widely from one location to another. In New York, the mortality rate of those placed on ventilators is 88%. In other places, the rate is around 10%. So the information needed from this is to discern the difference, whether this is due to a difference in treatment in the base population or in the variant or variants present. I could be wrong, but one reason I suspect the effects are more drastic in much of the U.S. population is because of diet. The virus causes an obvious systemic inflammatory response. The all too typical American diet includes many food varieties which cause or worsen inflammation to begin with. Compare this to the diets in many other countries. That inflammatory cascade is not only painful, but when severe enough, causes interference in the functioning of internal organs. Most notably the heart, lungs, kidneys, intestines, and joints. I have not heard of it crossing the blood-brain barrier or invading the nervous system. Any nervous involvement appears to be secondary to other organ function. It has the potential to cause nervous system problems if a person develops blood clots or blood flow is restricted to any part of the nervous system because of existing vascular disease being exacerbated by the inflammation. Some people will claim that this is not the worst pandemic to have hit mankind. However, how bad any epidemic or pandemic may be depends entirely on the medical technology of the time. Considering that we have the technology such as mechanical ventilators, ancillary medications, cardiac medications, to treat symptoms, cardiac effects. We have IV medications for major symptoms. This virus is not seen to be as serious as it would have been in a different time period. Imagine what the death toll would have been 100 years ago. They did not have these technologies, and the death toll would have been tremendous. Far, far more than it is now. So when a person downplays the severity of this infection, Share this information with them. If we discuss these things, then we need to have all the factual information available that we can gather. Don't base all of the arguments on hearsay and emotion and capitalism when human lives are on the line. You know, all the little Karens running around wanting their haircuts and their lattes really should not have any part of this discussion until they're informed on the reality. Okay? All right, that is it for this one. So please like this video, share this video, discuss these issues, spread this information far and wide. You know, and, you know, if you care to, then please, you know, read the entire article I'm referencing. It's from Harvard. So, but in spite of the way that the part that I read may have sounded fairly technical, it's pretty readable. All right, if you can, please donate $1 a month to help expand the channel, and I hope you have a good day.